A K-drama full of the scummiest scumbags to ever scumbag, and they can all go to hell politely. Oh, but first, welcome to Kia's Hyping, where we talk about K-drama, K-pop, and K-media in general. Let's start from the beginning. Baby, when they named this show Karma, they meant that. They deserved everything that happened to them. Karma starts with the classic bitch better have my money scene, and we meet the debtor, or rather the most narcissistic character I've ever seen in K-drama, aka the catalyst for all the mess that's about to transpire. He owes some money to some bad folks, and they've snatched him up and given him 30 days and 30 days only to pay them back, or they're going to harvest his organs. Since he obviously can't take responsibility for his own failures in life, he puts a hit out on his own daddy. And his daddy has a massive insurance policy in place in case of his accidental death. This is where Gil Rong enters, a half Chinese Korean. And y'all, the racism, girl, like, okay, I know Korea is a society of a society, like, people are gonna people, but like, the blatant racism, like the writers in this show, like, girl, I was clutching my pearls. Anyways, Gil Rong, and he of course has a shady background with former ties to the Chinese mafia apparently. He's just been laid off and is in need of cash, so of course the debtor asks him to unalive his dad but make it look like it was an accident. Gil Rong then goes on to enlist help from a shady character from his past, but of course they bungle it up and the hit and run doesn't work. They manage to not only not unalive the dad, but also have a witness who caught them in the act. So things are spiraling quickly. The story moves on from here, and we're introduced to two new characters, Glasses and Yu Jong. They've just wrapped up a date, and in the middle of the night, Yu Jong's friend, dad, mysteriously passes away, and she needs to get back to the city. She wakes up Glasses and she's like, you have to take me back right now. He's like, oh, I've had too much to drink, I'll call you a taxi. And so she guilt trips him into taking her back anyway. They hop into the car, and while driving, Yu Jong tries to quote unquote repay the favor, if you know what I mean, with a little fun time, but like in the most obnoxious way possible. Obviously Glasses can't see with everything that's going on, and he hits a man in the street. Y'all. Glasses immediately becomes a villain. Like, immediately. There's not a decent bone in his greasy little body. We finally get to see who he's hit, and guess who it is? Dear old dad. Now, how was that even possible, child? Buckle in. Glasses, the greaseball, throws dad into the back of the trunk, tackles a witness who happens to be innocently cycling by, knocks him out and throws him in the trunk as well, and absconds to the hills to get rid of the bodies. The witness, however, wakes up and Glasses lets him live if he agrees to never speak of what's happened, and of course he pays him off. With the body ditched and the witness paid off, he thinks he's in the clear and everyone separates. Except the witness comes back and says he needs even more money from good old Glasses. Glasses, who is a narcissist, obviously decides he's not paying the cost of the damages alone, and he figures, like, why should he, when the whole thing wouldn't have happened if Yu Jong, his date, hadn't have had him out in the middle of the night. So not only a greaseball, but a cheapskate. Under pressure to pay off the witness, Glasses ends up reviewing the footage from his dash cam like he should have from the beginning, and it's here that he sees that not only did he not hit dear old dad had been chucked from an overpass that he drove under by the same guy he had just paid off to keep quiet. The witness had orchestrated the whole thing, girl. The witness is the person who was helping Gil Rong to begin with. Okay. It's a lot. There's a lot. I feel like I need to have some type of flow chart. Glasses meets up with Yoo-jung to have her corroborate his story when he goes to the cops with his evidence. But would this be a K-drama if there wasn't a setup or a double cross? Yoo-jung meets Glasses in the parking lot to go over their story, and surprise, surprise, the witness is there to derail that plan because he and Yoo-jung are shady business partners and make a living setting up people. Again, would this be a K-drama if that wasn't a thing? Would it really be a K-drama? The way I screamed at this reveal, like I should have known that something was up immediately by the way she was acting in that car, but like I was just so annoyed by her, and like still thinking about the previous episode, I was genuinely shocked by this reveal. The witness then knocks out Glasses and they drive to an abandoned building to get rid of him, but he wakes up, realizes what's happening, and because he's a gross little man, he immediately directs all of his small peen energy towards Yoo-jung and crushes her with the car. However, in his little peen energy, he seems to forget that the witness was also there, and he meets his end shortly after. There are a lot of other small stories happening that ties all this mess together, but to save some time, know these two things. Glasses had a private detective firm following him the entire time because he's already married, girl. He's out here cheating, and the wife is trying to track him down for alimony and child support. And then I'm also going to skip over Shin Min-ah's story, but just know that she's a doctor that was betrayed by Yoo-jung when they were children. And she is tied to the debtor in a really gross way. Her story is important. As someone who does not agree with the entertainment industry using sexual abuse for entertainment value or shock value, I wasn't comfortable watching it, so I'm really not comfortable possibly triggering somebody in here. Just know if you watch this K-drama, that is a part of this story, and it's a small part, but it's a pivotal part, and it helps tie all the loose ends together. However, I just won't be talking about it. Okay, anyways, from there, now that they've unsuccessfully off good old dad, we go back to the debtor, who finds out that they did not do a good job of making the death look accidental. However, Gil-rong and the witness are still expecting their money. Also, y'all, I forgot to write the rest of the script, so it's a lot has happened in these last 2 weeks, y'all. I'm sorry. But bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Just bear with me, okay? Stick with me. I almost feel like I need to actually be on camera, but bear with me. Okay, the debtor goes on to do his whole little fake crying, like, oh, I can't believe my dad is dead. He then goes to find out about the insurance claim and finds out that it's under investigation and they can't pay him until the death is actually ruled accidental. So he now has not only his original debtors breathing down his neck, but Gil-rong as well. The witness is also breathing down Gil-rong's neck because he said he would be a part of this monumental payout. He calls Gil-rong and he's like, you know what, man? I got your money. Let's meet up at this point and I'll take you to it. Gil-rong goes, he's like, all right, but don't try to mess me over, because if you try to mess me over, I'm gonna know about it. What does the debtor do? Try to mess him over. You see him in a parking lot practicing his quote unquote moves where he's gonna take out Gil-rong and and buy himself some time to get the insurance money. Lo and behold, girl, that don't work. That don't work at all, girl. They drive to like this same abandoned building that everything horrible that has happened so far in this show continues to happen. Gil-rong is like, boy, I saw you trying to practice these weak ass moves. I saw you trying to practice these weak ass moves, bro. Like, it's not gonna work on me. Where's my money? So a little tussle breaks out. They end up in the building. He knocks him out, and the debtor wakes up tied to a chair. child, a mess. And of course, because he doesn't have a way to pay Gil wrong, and subsequently the witness, they get rid of him. They pour the gasoline on him, and then they get to tussling because the witness, who is obviously also a shady person, is now on the run from the cops. Because remember when I said Glasses had a detective agency following him around? Well, they managed to capture his death on video, and that video has now been sent out to the public, and the witness is now part of a manhunt. They're trying to find him, so he's desperate. He's now cooked up this plan in his head that, well, I can get this money by assuming the debtor's identity, but I have to get rid of Gil wrong as well. So he comes in ready to double cross. Those two are going back and forth. They're tussling. The witness somehow gets the better of Gil wrong, knocks him down a chute, and he sets everything ablaze. As he's trying to make his escape, he also gets trapped in the building and nearly dies. He is rushed off to the hospital where he receives treatment and then is later able to leave under the debtor's identity. Keep in mind, the whole time the police are investigating this, they're looking at him like, I don't think, this story is weird. How did you end up here in this burning building to begin with? They're investigating it. The witness then goes on to assume the debtor's life. He goes to his apartment. He follows up with the insurance company, only to find out that while the insurance policy was going to be paid out, it was going to be paid out to a church. I just, they named this show perfectly. Whoever wrote this, I want to watch more of your work. I was genuinely astounded because you did all that. You did all that tussling and bustling. You nearly lost your life. You assumed someone else's identity to get some dang on insurance money after you tried to kill his dad in an accidental death. Girl. It was a lot. It's a lot. And anyways, he finds out that the insurance money is gonna go to the church. He goes to the church. He ain't no way. This is my money. I'm collecting this. This is my money. He goes in there with that hoorah. And the little nun is like, well, your dad said you would do this, so, we had to get it. He wrote a statement saying he was of sound mind and body when he did this. So he storms out. Then he goes back to the apartment, back to the debtor's apartment, where he continues to live his life because at this point he doesn't have another choice. He is actively a wanted man. The police have caught on to his little front, and so they're after him. And the witness has decided, you know what? This isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. I need to get the hell up out of here. He's packing up the debtor stuff because, of course, he's going to continue to assume his identity, and he's about to bounce. He does escape the police only to get to a bus stop to try to get out of there and have the debtor's original, what do they call them? Loan sharks pull up on him, snatch him up off the street, and be like, we told you if you didn't have our money on this date, it was done for you. They didn't waste a second. At immediately 12 o'clock midnight, they pulled up and snatched that man off that street. They was not playing. He wakes up and he's like, I'm not him. I'm somebody completely different. They didn't want to hear none of that. They slice and dice his organs without anesthesia. And that's how our story ends, girl. That's how the show ends. Yeah. Let's talk about the writing. Y'all, I have said 30,000 times, 30 million gajillion thousand times that I'm so sick of rom-coms. Don't get me wrong, I love a good rom-com, but the writing in this story was so good and so intricate, and I genuinely did not see a lot of the twists and turns coming because it wasn't as predictable as most K-dramas usually are. Like, it was such a nice change from the normal and what I usually watch. And I know that's my fault. Like, I do love a good rom-com, I do love a good school drama, and that's usually what I end up watching. But to finally just happen upon something that's actually written so well and is so well thought out and so well acted, like, I believe this story. There were pieces that I was watching this where I forgot I was actually watching a K-drama, and there are pieces of the story that I completely was not expecting to happen. Like, the twists and the turns that were going on, I was not expecting it. So I would give the writing alone a solid 10 out of 10. And maybe that's a little generous. I could be saying that because I thought the writing itself was very refreshing and very different, not more of the same. It's actually a thriller, a psychological thriller that's a psychological thriller. It makes you think. You have to pay attention to each episode. You can't like kind of come in and out and still understand what's going on. Like, you need to have each piece of you need to have watched each piece or every episode to understand each piece of what's going on and how it all ties together. I'm hoping my explanation was coherent because I did not have time to finish writing the script, but girl, it's been 2 weeks and my life was blown up, so I felt like I needed to get this video out this week no matter what. But yeah, I hope my explanation was actually coherent. I'll try to provide plenty of visuals. But yeah, girl, the writing in this show was so stinking good. 10 to 10 for me. The characters though, okay, let's talk about the characters. Off rip, I hate the debtor. Like, who puts a hit out on their own daddy, on their own parent? Like, this man, at the beginning of the show, girl, the daddy had already been in a car accident, and so he scammed the person who hit his daddy out of extra money and then took money and took that money and pocketed it, girl, only to get jumped later on and lose it. He is the worst person I have seen in a K-drama in a minute. And that's, you know, I almost want to say he worse than like the abusive dads and all the K-dramas I've been watching lately. Girl, the most narcissistic character ever to be written. Okay, that might be a lie. I ain't seen all the K-dramas ever. But he was a mess and I did not like him. The Witness, I actually thought was pretty funny. Like, I know he was doing scummy things, okay? I know he was a bad guy, but he was definitely my favorite of the show, followed by Yo Wrong, because this man was just trying to make it home and provide money for his sick daughter, and I am not one to play with the racism, so I wasn't fucking with that. Yu Jong, or is it Gong? Girl, the girl who got hit by the car, I wasn't messing with her either because she set up Shimpana. I don't care that she turned into a femme fatale. I don't care about none of that. What you did in your youth was enough for me to write you off completely. And then finally, Glasses. Girl, that small P energy alone, girl, he deserved what he got. Okay, maybe not deserved. No one deserves to die, but like, you are already running from your wife. You were cheating on your wife, one, but you were already running to escape alimony and child support. Like, come on now. But yeah, The Witness, you know, the story ended with him. I don't know why you thought you could assume someone's life. Like, I don't like how, if I'm doing a dirty deed for someone and that dirty deed includes often that person's parent in the name of money, that tells me they in a messed up situation in life and they're desperate. Like, they're moving out of desperation. Do you really think I'm about to assume that person's life? Petty criminals, man. I don't know. Either way, I give this show a strong 9.5 out of 10. It was definitely a highlight in K-drama for me this week. I've been watching other shows. I'm gonna try to get out like 3 or 4 more videos in the next 2 weeks just to kind of catch up. But yeah, a strong 9.5 out of 10 for me. And honestly, I'm only deducting because of the shock value that they added. Anyways, girl, that's it for me for this video. If you aren't liking and subscribing, you're losing our points, and therefore your karma is going into the negative. You should probably be liking and subscribing, friend. I'm just saying. You here watching it. I know you here watching it, y'all. So, anyways, this has been Kia's Typing. I will see you in the next one. Who knows what we're going to be yapping about then. Y'all stay safe out there. Bye.